I think I got the right clip here. Here we go.
I don't even want to be in the presence of a woman that's tainted. You don't have a chance because he already had you. Listen, if it's that easy for me to get it, I don't feel that special because he hit it and he hit it and Dreadhead hit it and Umar hit it. Boys didn't hit it. Boys didn't hit it. He didn't have a chance. We ain't worried about boys. And the favorite football player hit it and the basketball player hit it and the homie from the hood hit it and they ran a train on you before that and then you had a kid by him and you had a kid by him and you had a kid by him and then for some reason you think you're supposed to be sitting in the presence of kings. Since when did that happen? How is it that we started qualifying ourselves for people that we don't even qualify to sit in front of? And then they want you to be a step crash dummy. I just got a quick question, ladies. What qualifies you for a good man? Gentlemen, for those of you that have held yourself to a higher standard, have gone through the fire, has become the best version of yourself, and continue to evolve based off of what your next preference is, your next purpose is, your growth curve, because your purpose is ever evolving depending on where you at in your life. I tell you all the time, vet for the direction that you're going in, so the woman that you wind up being with is not the woman that you've met. Anton, how do you vet for the direction that you're going in? Think about it. Overwhelmingly, guys, the value of a man continues to rise as he gets older. The value of a woman diminishes as she gets older. That's why they call it the wall, because she hit a certain point in her life to where if she can't climb, she bound to drizzle out. Shout out to Snoop.
So
Hell,
that's what Boys got smoke with. Because he's saying, he was sort of telling Anton, his stance is that's not true. Women don't necessarily lose value.
Oh, I love this. This here, I think this is rather sensitive because, like I said, shout out to Dr. Boyce. Dr. Boyce is a rider for the cause in the academia world, in the financial world. Let's get that understood. Too dope when it comes to finances and whatever academics. But here we are. Now we're talking about relationships, brother Boyce. And Boyce, it's unfortunate. My man, Boyce still got that hurt from being that physical intimacy deprived college student. Boys still wear that hurt on his shoulder of having the team captains of the basketball and football team come and take his girl, quite literally. You see what I'm saying? And we wouldn't even be talking about it if Boyce's hurt was so far out front. He even got into using sign language on brother Anton on this. I seen a shout out to brother Theo Coop over to Do Better podcast. He covered this and we was in the chat going crazy. It was nuts. My man had over 12, Theo had over 1,200 people in the room. Insane. Nevertheless, yeah, Boyce up here arguing Anton, and he up here trying to defend his, I swear he tried to defend his wife. For those you don't know, it's kind of, public knowledge now. Boyce liked his wife. He liked her back in college, but she didn't want nothing to do with him. She went out, dated all the athletes, had some kids. Now she said, hey, Boyce, I'm ready for you now. And men, we got love for our brothers like Boyce, and we tell y'all not to move like that, especially whenever it ain't in your best interest, brother. That's all. That's it. We just advocate for good men, and good men doing the best thing to get the best result. And Boyce is making it seem like there we go. Boyce making it seem like he would tell his sons to do the same thing he did. You understand? And that's, I'll guarantee you that is the basis of brother Anton's pushback. Because when none of our sons, we would not tell any of our sons to go out here and marry a woman that he was spent with in college and had kids by all the athletes, and now she ready to settle down with you. Once she done been alpha widowed time and time again, ain't no way.
That part. So we got a super chat here, and I see my girl backstage. Welcome up, my girl Luna.
hey, everybody.
What's going on? Oh, I like that background.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. It's been a busy day. I did booty yoga yesterday.
Now you do it. We too mature for you just say that. Booty yoga. What's booty yoga?
Well, I think she spelled like BOTI. I think it had like a spiritual meaning, but it's yoga, but it literally is like just like working the quads and the glutes. It was fun.
There you go. You know what? Up on YouTube, Instagram, and stuff now, more than not, is a new topic going on, talking about these men and women that's up on camera acting like they showing you a product Or, you know, you got these sisters now loading a truck and they got on these leggings. And now they talking about, you know, they're like, are these people's sexuality dominating the screen? And so that's what I thought about, you know, like these people won't be on Instagram, like, yeah, you know, look how I chopped this wood, and they be butt naked.
Yes, crazy. And it's, I don't know if it's the same thing, but even those ads to where like, I know you see sometimes on stories where like they'll have a girl's booty sitting there and then you click it, it's like send cash app to. I'm like, what is going on? Are they trying to sell something? It's like the weirdest thing, but yeah, no, it was nothing like that. It was
Okay.
And shout out to Loud Rose with the $5, says just subscribed. We appreciate you. Hopefully both channels. All right. I don't know which channel you're watching on, but it says take financial advice from someone other than a simp. Just my opinion and the rule I live by.
Okay. And I can respect that. At the very same time, we should still remain, you know, we should care about the outcome. And regardless of how we feel about boys as far as relationships, when it comes to finances, he a millionaire. So say what you want.
Like I said, two things is true. Like I said, boys shoot himself in the foot though.
Yes,
so
he do.
For people that should be listening, maybe you should shut your mouth because you're alienating people that want to listen.
And that's his collateral damage. He should have never did that.
And shout out to Divine Photos, says what people should understand is a woman hitting the wall don't necessarily mean looks. It's usually an attitude, how they act, age, and other things.
There we go. That's it. And we talk about, as far as value, and we ain't talking about value as a human. We talking about the value on the open sexual marketplace, not as a child of God.
So here we are. We's up here cooking. Crystal, we'll get you in here in a minute. We're going to let this video play. All right. And so Boyce and Anton about getting to it. Anton say these women are hitting the wall at 40 or whatever. I don't know what age they talking about. Let's see what we got.
I love this exchange.
So what part of that is woman bashing?
That a woman's value diminishes as she gets older. I think that there is a better way to lay that out. Now, one thing I will say, I'm gonna start with where I agree with you, because these debates are hard for me, honestly, because I listen to a lot of the stuff you say, and I listen to a lot of stuff Kevin said, and I completely got it. I do, and my wife doesn't get it the way I get it. And I've encouraged her. I've said, you know, you should probably listen to some of these guys because they are reflecting something that a lot of men feel. And I think that should be heard. I think that the way I would challenge you on that a little bit is to say, is there a way you can make your point without it coming out as what you are against? You know, you did talk about what you were for. You talked about men, you know, the best version of yourself and everything else. And the problem with people on the internet is that a guy who's listening to you, there's nothing in that video that makes him say, well, maybe I need to step my game up. Where am I lacking? Where have I made a mistake? Where have I, remember, we're men, we're the leaders of the community. If the community's falling apart, a lot of it's falling on us. Where am I not doing what I'm supposed to do? Right. And you know, and then the other part is that I think that really just sort of saying things like, look, as a man, my value goes up as I get older. As a woman, your value goes down. I know a lot of guys whose value does not go up, you know, because of the bad choices that they're making. They got the babies, mamas, the diseases, the bad credit, they haven't got their money up, education levels flat dead, not taking care of their kids, not a good leader of the household. So this is, I think that's a false idea. And then also I think that as men, it's not really our right to tell a woman what her value actually is. There are some women who have enough juice where they could sleep with several men and do whatever they're gonna do and still bag a good man because she looks good or because she knows how to treat a man or whatever. I think that these hard fast rules I don't like. That's what I don't like. Like the idea that if you're over 35, you're worthless. That's not. I know women that are 42 that could compete with a 28-year-old. So why don't we talk about as opposed to trying to make these rules?
You don't know no 42-year-old that can compete with a 28-year-old. Come on, stop,
bro. Let me tell you the truth. I'm an honest reflection here. When I was 45, that was when I got married.
We're gonna stop him for a second, man.
Thank you.
All right, Boyce. He said 42-year-old can compete with 28. Like you said, Boyce operating from a different scale. I don't know what he talking about. We see these women up here every day on the Kendra show. mean,
he being too vague. He's being too vague. Boy said he think, you know, the whole premise that men's value go up and women's value in the open sexual marketplace goes down is a false premise, something that men made up. And that is bullshit. We talking about men of value. Yes, obviously, we talk about that. Men have to go out here and establish themselves. They have to go out here and get it to get any kind of value. Otherwise, they remain valueless. Voice he just vouched for that. Right. But you see, go ahead. What are you gonna say, Crystal?
No, I think that the issue that I see is that the Kevin Samuels red pill space operates in majorities, and people like Royce operate in, if you have the potential and you put in the work, you can make the change. Now, like, you know, you all say that can be sometimes a very optimistic dead end, because a lot of people feel like people aren't going to change. A lot of people, you know, feel these different type of ways, but I think that's the issue. Royce is more community oriented, build this, do that. To me, Anton is more competitive hierarchy. I'm only focused on the majority.
Competitive hierarchy. Is that not what builds the world? Competitiveness? Like,
it's not what builds people. If you want them to change, a lot of the times, even obviously.
Boys just sat up here and said that a woman could go out here and sleep with folks and still land like a top guy. We got to listen to where Boyce is speaking from. He's speaking from his wife. With all due respect, Boyce is speaking for his wife.
Right, I missed that first part. Y'all were saying
his audience, like you said. Yeah, Boyce got a 75% female audience on his channel. So he's not speaking from a hardcore male perspective ever. He ain't about to alienate his audience. He ain't no fool. And his wife is the icing on that cake.
Yeah. You think it's also the women who he's around? Because Royce is probably around some 40-year-olds that can give 20 can run circles around some 20-year-olds.
What, like mentally, like education and stuff?
We got to give the context. Boyce is pretty much telling everyone to do what he did.
They have money. They're taking care of themselves, like the Drea situation. 40 years old, but still looking 20-something because they're around these very successful type of men.
And we would tell that to the average 42-year-old woman that the problem is we operated on this theory that women should even be single at that age. You know what I mean? Granted, things happen, but you really want to be off the market. You don't, because if you are in the market, just by proxy, you are competing with 25-year-old women, whether you like it or not.
Boyce saying that. Well, you got to see even his facial expression whenever he say, well, I know women that's 45, 42, and they could do this. He talking very specific. He giving his anecdotal experiences. Maybe he done seen, you know, these women like this at some black carpet or red carpet events. But that is not the majority. Like you said, Crystal, Anton, like speak for the majority. And I do disagree. I don't think that Boyce is building up no community. I'm not sorry. Boyce got hurt, and he's trying to compensate for his shortcomings as a young college man.
You think Boyce got more hurt than Anton?
Stop. Yeah. What? Wait, okay, I will have to ask you this. I think it's easy to get to an answer. Where does Anton's hurt come from, if he has any? Where does this hurt come from? You said Anton has hurt. Where? Because I can tell you where Boyce's comes from. 100%.
Well, they say, psychologists say all of our hurt comes from our mother and our father.
But there we go. Anton grew up in a very stable household. He didn't grow up in the hood. He grew up very well. He actually says that to Boyce. Boyce made the same accusation. And he said, no, Boyce, I got my mom and my dad. They were successful. He's healthy. He's just
can we pause with that? I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of people acting like it's going crazy on the internet. It's spreading like forest fire. If you do the work, if you heal yourself, you can have a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship. As long as the thing is, people who have seen it have an advantage, but that doesn't mean that you will ultimately have. I've had plenty of women I've talked to with 2-parent households, spoiled and can't find no man to deal with them because they're just a daddy's girl to the max. So I'm sick of them acting like people who don't come from households who have done the work can't find a lover like them. It's not true.
That's true. Now just because Anton comes from a stable household don't mean that he's not hurt. At the same time, boys
or a good person.
But boys was trying to make the point that he was hurt, and it was most likely they came from a broken home, and that was incorrect. And to make such an accusation and be wrong is a sign of emotion, and that's what.
Now, can I say this though? We've also seen and this is why people have to realize. I know we want to keep our households together. Of course, we want to stay married. But if you have a toxic home, I just talked to a good friend of mine yesterday. Both of her parents were extremely. One was an addict and the other one was just emotionally detached. 2-parent household. To the world, it looked amazing. They had money and everything. So I think we have to have a deeper conversation of just because you come from a 2-parent household, even sometimes healthy 2-parent household, but if you have an extremely detached mother or a crazy mama or whatever, you can still be a horrible person.
See,
that doesn't give you a pass.
I don't want to be general with this because we're talking about mom being horrible. I think it's safe to say Anton did not experience any of that. He more or less comes off like a young man that experienced a good life. He's very stuck in his ways. He's very confident and he's established.
And I was gonna say this. Yeah, we going down the rabbit hole of not necessarily talking about the message and talking about the messengers. Where we, you know what I mean? Does that discredit anything about these women hitting the wall? That's what we were talking about.
There we go.
The women not hit the walls. Are men making this up?
I've seen 20-year-old women hitting walls because they don't want to change. People who don't want to do the work and change themselves and be crazy and mean and mad and stuck on their past and trauma. Yeah, you might be acting like you've still hit a wall as well. So I think it comes down to something much bigger than age. I think it's just sick and sad. And at that point, you too grown to be at this point. But I don't necessarily, I think if people do the work, they don't have to worry about some wall. I've met women who are gorgeous, who don't want to be in a relationship. They rather be single. And then they decide later on to get in a marriage.
That's true. Didn't Maya marry herself? The singer Maya?
Yeah.
And she's beautiful. I mean, she could be, you telling me she can't get no man?
No, stop. There we go. Talking about can't get no man.
About choices. We talk about choices.
Be with a man for 10, 15, 20 years. We got to stop. Any woman on the face of this earth with a pulse can get a man to lay in the bed with her and do weird stuff.
Right. No, I mean, when we say that, I mean like a marriage. This one, granted, we don't know.
Maya cannot get married. She's self-centered. You said can Maya get no? So Maya cannot get married. She can't. It's impossible.
I don't agree. I think
hold on, stop. Because we can't speak in these absolutes. We got to get this granular. She will not get married to the man that she desires, sexually, and the man she's gonna respect financially. She's not gonna get that equal. That's why these women are single. We can't.
So y'all are saying y'all don't believe it's some people who just do not want a relationship.
No, we do.
We talked about this. We talked about how every woman at some point wants to be in a relationship, and at some point, whether it's nug,
and at some point, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't.
Hold on. No, this goes for every woman. It ain't like so. Every woman that's on this earth at one point wanted to be in a relationship. Whether that ended at 18, 40, 60.
Oh, definitely.
So we got to stop that part of it. It quack like these women just walking around and never wanted this. They forfeited it and they gave up. They took their ball and went home.
I think that I agree with you. Everybody wants a relationship at some point. Everybody wants a relationship at some point. I don't disagree with that. I think that we just cannot say that women who don't feel like putting the energy forth or are just really happy with themselves and their life. And we've talked about this before. Men need a family a lot of the times in order to even feel secure, stable, a purpose. Women can have a purpose.
Whoa, that's now wait, Crystal. Women are the most social of the group. So how do men need to be more social? Not
social in the community point of view, but they need something to do, to work for, to build a family. You'll hear women say,
and so men have a need to build a family, and women do not.
I'm not saying they do not. We have a lot of similarities, but what I'm saying is that you will find more women say, I am very content, happy, single, with going to my, they look girls trips. We see them going on them trips. They be old, 40, overweight with the shirts on the cruises. In our mind, we thinking, why don't you just lose the weight and do the work? And find a partner. But in their mind, they're like, baby, I'm cool. I'm happy with my life, my career. I'm retired. I don't want to be with a man. I was married for 10 years, 20 years. I'm cool.
Now see, there you again. You just, Crystal, and that's why you get a lot of pushback. You just made it seem like a lot of these women that be on these single girls trips, them already been married for 10, 20 years. That's what you just said. That's the picture you just painted. That these women don't want to get married because they done been married before and now they just living their best life. That would be dope if it was true, but that's not. I
think most women have had at least a relationship of more than 3 years. I think most women have. So now, granted, we're speaking in general, right? There are some women, we know some people don't do the work. We know a lot of this mess that's going on now is because people are not good. They're just not where they need to be. But I also feel like there's another large group of women who either, like you said, maybe they hit the wall, and so they can't get the type of man they want, and they're content and happy with being by themselves. They're not depressed every day. But you got another group of women like Maya, not overweight, vegan, seems to be self-aware, and just doesn't want it. So we don't know why, but I think that does happen.
I tell you, back to boys. So back to their exchange. So here's my thing. We were saying that most likely Anton has more hurt, and maybe his messages come from hurt, so it's wrong and flawed. Where Boyce's message is not so flawed, and it's not coming from a place of hurt. 100% of alpha and sigma men will look at Brother Boyce and look at his whole situation. That brother's hurt, and he's speaking from a place of hurt and emotion. I don't. So I don't care about the betas and the simps and the men that women don't desire. I don't care about, because no, most men gonna say he lost.
El Paulino says, why should a man step up his game for a 304?
So I missed that, y'all. So is his wife was like, I missed that part. She was some girl he wanted from college. Right, he wanted her in college. I missed that part. And
Boyce.
Then
Boyce,
sorry.
That's like
I said. She was a married woman. I guess she got like 3 kids from her ex-marriage, but like I said,
oh man, you made it sound like she was out here thotting and trotting on the
well, maybe like in college. I guess she was thotting and trotting. They 50-something years old.
Boyce talked about. That's why I say he saw her in college. He wanted to date her. She didn't want him. She was too busy dating the athletes.
Maybe she had a boyfriend. Listen,
we ain't going down that rabbit hole. We ain't going. Shout out to Red Pill Ranger. He says Boyce got rejected in his prime and settled for her in his 50s after she had kids from who she really attracted to.
And that's what men realize. Listen, Chris, I understand for a women like, stop saying that, because she winning in this situation, Crystal. But Boyce is not winning in this. Boyce is a very intelligent man, and his cognitive dissonance is gonna start kicking in.
Did she cheat on him? Did she cheat on him? Did she cheat on him?
She's intelligent too. She never will. I don't think.
So how is he losing? How can we say that when we can't predict the future and say this woman is going to leave him on his deathbed?
Here we go. Shout out El Paulino. She says women do not know what a confident man sounds like because they mistake confidence for narcissism.
That can be true. That can be true.
You know
what? You think Anton sound more confident? Hey, some people like that energy. I ain't do what y'all do.
Look, the brother outspoken. He is, and he stand on his square, but he's standing on that square. You gotta respect it, whether you like his tone or not. He ain't lying.
It's not about his tone. It's his energy.
And he ain't telling no lies.
Words. It's the way he talks about his wife, the person that he married, like a dog. That's weird.
Oh no, he praises his wife.
Oh, here we go. Shout out to Red Pill Ranger says, Crystal, you wrong again. Anton been married for 20 years and he's only 40. The who hurt you don't work. He says, don't hurt him, don't work, and it's not evidence. He has a family problem. It's not
right. That was Bryce who said that, not me, but he's got something. He never comes off as happy. Ever.
Yeah, been in a fight for 20 years, so you don't know they dynamic. Yeah, you can't take something from a live stream. There
you go.
Like say, I've never seen that, so we don't have no evidence of that.
Yeah, I could sit up here and say some stuff that I don't necessarily agree with. I could say something outrageous, and me and my wife will laugh about it later. It depends. Like I said, they've been married for 20 years. They got an arrangement. They talk. They together for real. We got to put some respect on that, man.
Oh no, I definitely put some respect on it, but I also know women. I've talked to women who got divorced after 25 years because they couldn't take it no more. So we like how we predicted the future of boys. All I'm saying is, I don't think she's gonna leave him based off the tone and whatever is going on. But look, I don't want to speak on nobody's marriage. I want everybody to be happy, whether I like his the way he speaks or not. I don't project or want anything bad for Anton. All I'm saying is that I just wish that nice guys or guys that are, just sweet wouldn't be instantly sweet to women would instantly not be put in a simp category.
I agree with that, Crystal. I wish that was true as well. But we call them that because based on how the women treat them, don't you understand? They nice and sweet, and the women put them in that category. Not as men, we just acknowledge it. Yeah, you see, we ain't dating these dudes. It's the women. And somebody like boys, ain't no man trying to swap places with boys in situation.
He's and right here, Crystal don't understand. No man wants to be a woman's second choice.
Because it ain't safe. You, Crystal, I think you could agree with this. A guy being second choice to a woman, at some point you're on the chopping block.
No, I get that. I don't disagree with that. I don't second pick, Matt, go do something else, male or female. I totally agree. My only thing is that we're assuming. We don't know if this girl had a husband, a boyfriend, somebody else she was dating. Boys, like y'all say, sometimes it takes men a minute to kind of feel in themselves. Shout out to the incels out there. Y'all gonna make it. I believe in y'all. They might need to lose a little weight. They might still be trying to find their juice. They might need to take a class with Mr. Walker or Gavin and get some swag. I just can't just say that I know for sure what was going on. He could have been overweight, toe up. And she just like, baby, sweet. But I mean, I'm just saying different scenarios exist.
Yeah.
Shout out to Divine Photos. We're about to get back into this video, but we got a lot to mine through tonight. He says Boyce Watkins, Steve Harvey, Russell Wilson all have a lot in common. They all wiped up leftovers and all are simps in their marriages.
That's unfortunate, man. Like, it's just unfortunate.
But I thought y'all said y'all can't speak for another man. If
we
they're not getting cheated on,
it ain't just being cheated on. There's other ways than just black pills, than just your woman getting random weedy put in her. Yeah, how she treats you in public, on social media, worse that she say. Men, we hold other men accountable for that. So that's that. But like I said, women place these men in that beta and simp category. We as men just acknowledge it.
So here we go. I'm gonna let them cook for another second. Boyce said 42-year-old women are competing with 28-year-old women. So here we go.
And I know that it's not all women, and I get it, but I don't see the same level of accountability being pushed toward the men as the women. And I believe it's because the men are the ones that are promoting the content and giving the clicks and views, and because you're affirming everything they believe, that nothing's their fault, that it's always the women this and women that. I see the same shit you see. I see the same community you see. I avoid the same women you might avoid, but I think that we have a community that needs healing and support, not one where we got millions of men that are just talking crazy about like single mothers. Like, what the fuck is wrong with single? Like, every single mother is not a hoe. Some of them literally got abandoned by some raggedy ass Negro who didn't handle his responsibility. We don't talk about that.
We do talk about it. We've been talking about it for the past 50 years. Guys by default have always been held accountable, largely for the things that they do, because we don't have a safety net. But when we speak, of course, there's going to be the anomaly. Of course, there's going to be the woman who is widowed. Of course, there's going to be a lot of different women that are in certain circumstances. But when we speak to the majority. We don't speak to the minority. And statistically speaking, the overwhelming majority of women are having babies with a small minority of men. Let's say, for example, that you hold every guy accountable, because contrary to popular belief, I'm much harder on guys than I am on women. I am absolutely, positively dedicated to building men. As a matter of fact, I'm an advocate for dick discipline. I don't advocate for guys to be out here spreading their seed. I'm a reflection of the thing that I advocate for. And I'll get into my family history in a little bit, but in a general sense, I'm much harder on men than I am on women. But we live in a society where women have advocated for equal. They've advocated for equal when it comes to what benefits them, but not advocating for equal when it comes to holding themselves accountable for the decisions that they make, right? So now that they have a platform, and we've let women have a platform for a long time, now that men are starting to speak to their issues, we have to call a spade a spade. And the reality is that I can hold every single guy accountable, and every single guy can clean up their mess in their life. But it only takes a percentage of 1% of men to then get with all of the women that then choose this exact same type of guy, have a child by him, but then they'll start to hold all men accountable for the idea that they chose wrong, because they know that they should not be opening their legs and carrying before they marry. And so when we start to have these conversations, we have to have them holistically. You can't just say, okay, well, what about the guy? We always talk about the guy. We've been talking about the guy since the beginning of time. They won't even advocate for updating family court laws that were created at a time where women didn't even have rights to choose for themselves or be able to have the opportunities to have the jobs that they have. But they advocate against updating family court laws, but then advocate for making sure that they can choose and do what they want to do, but then advocate against being able to be held accountable for the decisions that they make. And that's ultimately creating so much chaos as far as the type of women that are then determining what's happening in our elections, the type of men that they're raising that ultimately is affecting what's happening in the laws that's happening in our schools. All of the things that we have as far as men being able to say, okay, well, I'm gonna be held accountable for the fact that I chose this woman or I had children with this woman, which the overwhelming majority of single men don't have children out of wedlock. That's a statistical fact. More men don't have children out of wedlock versus single baby mamas. But then we advocate for cleaning up the community. I don't believe personally that the goal is to make sure that we remix families and remix the core of what it takes in order to be.
So I'm gonna stop it for a minute. All right.
Hell.
So where the statisticians at in the chat? Is it true? Is it true that 54% of men are single and childless? And is it also true that 60% of women are single moms? Are these all? Because if all these stats are true, then
I mean, he said holistic, but I don't know what he just went against what is holistic to me by only speaking for the majority, at least from my understanding of what holistic means. It's fine. It is what it is. I'm just so tired of for 50 years, women have had a platform for 50, sir, but then you counter that with women didn't even have rights. It doesn't really make sense when you put it together like that. Yes, in the 90s, did you have a lot of single parent households? In the 80s, single parent households, of course. But to me, he's talking out the side of his neck, like Flora said. He's just talking to talk. Now, some of the stuff is facts. Some of the stuff is facts, but
let's talk about that. So if we can sit and say talking out the side of his neck, let's state what he's saying that is facts. So what's facts? Let's like I said, let's try to
don't marry before you carry. He low key, he said he doesn't have any mommy issues and things like that. That's great. I want that for him. But he gives me nobody like he claims he can get girls and whatnot, maybe now, but he gives off loser turned millionaire mad. I just closing your legs, marry before you carry, men having a voice now, which is great because it's going to help with mental health for men and giving them the space to open up. I agree with all of that. I still hate even now. I feel like women have more of a space to speak than men do, especially when it comes to like healing themselves and whatnot. He says a lot of things, but I think what Royce is saying is if we could get the women in order, like when me and Lamb and Picnic did our live earlier, shout out to them. We focus on women. We focus on sis, do this, stop marrying and carrying. We share our story and marrying and not, marry before you carry. We speak from our experiences and whatnot, but we speak to better the women. Mm-hmm. And if I can get the women together, hold on, wait. And then you can get the men together, we just might get the marriage rates back up. We can make the women act like regular people and women again. And we would have men also in a space to not make excuses for themselves and point it at the women all
I get it now. I just found I'm sitting here like, why in the world do I keep having conflict with Crystal? And we see a lot of stuff. And I hear it is. This is what it is, Crystal. You sit here, like you say, you talk to these ladies that may have made mistakes early in their lives, these single moms, like our beloved Pick Meek. And your goal as your sister's keeper, you like, hey, I'm gonna help y'all sisters, and y'all can get a man if y'all fix yourselves and do what y'all supposed to do. Y'all can get a man. and that's all good and well. But we over on the men's side, we saying, Crystal, these women that are trying to get themselves together, guys like, and trying to marry guys like boys, the women are winning. So Crystal, you like, Mr. Walker, chill out. The women, they getting a result, but we over here like the man ain't getting no result. And his turmoil and his torment is silent.
Royce don't seem sad. If he wanted to leave her, he could get with anybody. How can we? I'm just wondering, how can we?
He can't. There we go. Boyce is good with her. Boyce is very intelligent. Like, she about 50. He know that it is in her best interest not to cheat on Boyce, and he knows that he's a very intelligent man. If he get with something younger and a woman that can compete out here, Boyce runs a 99.9% chance of getting a black pill. That's just what it is. And he knows that. So with that being said, he can't get anyone, not to that extent. He can go out here and trick off.
That was extreme. I didn't mean anyone, but I meant like he didn't have to choose her. He didn't have to. I think he had to choose a woman of that caliber.
He had to, just like I talked about the brother with Russell Wilson. The only way he knew he had a chance with Sierra was because she had a kid. And Boyce proved my point. The only way he had a chance with his wife is when after she had kids, because in college she wasn't with it. And of course she's gonna say I had boyfriends.
That's just like a man saying I didn't have a chance with this woman when I didn't have a job. Of course you didn't have a chance with her. Like, you could look at that from two different ways.
And that's not true. Those standards, there we go. Those standards, you can't get with me unless you got a job. Those standards are for simps, and we talk about that. Once these women, Crystal, they got those standards, meet Mr. 6 foot 6 inch weenie, whatever they like, them standards go away. And
a man can always go and get a job. So that's a terrible analogy.
I'm speaking in general. I was saying a man who isn't up to par. If a woman is a nurse practitioner.
Well, we're speaking about women with children. So a woman can't just remove that child. A man can go. We talked about this before. Women have their wall. Men have a ceiling. So that man might.
How can we have Royce? Why do we have men just like Heathen Queen? Another example. Married forever, husband passed away. She had children before he met them. We have never, as Black people, period, said she got children, run away. Now I get it. If you don't have any children, you might not want to date a woman with children. I totally get that. But this rhetoric that nobody wants to date a woman with children, it's not a smart choice. We already said all this, but it's nothing we've ever dealt with in history.
Because we never dealt with so many single women with children in history. It's the first time we've been here. We've never been at this point in history where 60-70% of women are walking around single with children.
Well, I mean, you can't really say that, because back in the day,
it's never been a time in history.
Y'all didn't let me finish.
I said what time?
I said
context.
Y'all want me to say it?
Yeah.
Slavery days. Look. Hey, if you get sent off the boat, baby, look, that buck is coming to. Man, I love men who step up just like I love women who step up.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. We say stepfathers should get a parade. We don't tell men to do it because
if he want to do it, he love that woman.
Because these men don't know how disrespectful these women is. We get men keep coming up here telling us, y'all so right. I dated this woman. She had 2 kids and I knocked her up. Worst decision I ever made.
So where your next woman who ain't had no kids? What she do?
Ain't too many of them. It's too hard to find.
47%. Lamb said 47%.
I think it's over, man.
Yeah, all right, and even if it is 47%, what percentage of that 47% is now either playing for the other team or completely blowed out? Now we down to probably 12%.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say. When we keep making excuses for everything, we ain't gonna find nothing that we want. That's all I'm saying. And like, who was that earlier? That was Flora, who said, how you know if you want the second choice? You don't know. Women secretive as hell. Nobody knows.
You would. I thank you, Crystal. Shout out to Flora. Flora, bring yourself on up here. Talking about that. Hey, you will know how she treats you. Listen here. Like I said, I tried not to give too many of my anecdotal experiences because my path was goofy. But you will know if you're the first choice. And that's why we up here talking. You would know if you're the first choice. She treat you a certain way.
Man, okay, and it's normally Heathen Queen who says this, but you know, the whole settling thing that we all, you know, laugh about when she says it. But y'all been at parties back in college. You got a room full of women, some of them real fine and kind of thick. And you might not, that first one might have too many guys on her at that point. So you might slide over to the next one, her friend who's a little cuter, maybe not as tall or whatever guys look for, whatever.
You see that? And but, you speaking that point of view, talking about too many guys on her. That's a different guy's point of view. And
well, like, not too many guys. I'm just saying, like, maybe it's what I'm saying is that maybe she's already occupied, right? If you end up talking to the next finest girl at the party, I'm pretty sure, and you end up marrying her, nowhere in your mind are you going to be thinking, this wasn't my first pick. Man, I really wanted that girl with a bigger booty.
Men don't think like that. Because men don't think on that. Men don't have that hypergamous nature. Like, what can I get that's better? See, that's saying we're not that shallow.
So why men be leaving their wives at 45, 50 years old?
Give context. You got to give context why they leaving for. You can't just say they just left because they evil.
Men ain't leaving nobody because women file 80% divorces. So you can't say women.
Oh, but after the age of what, 50? Oh, that number it definitely switched.
Let's talk about it. Let's take what Crystal's saying at face value, just for the sake of argument. So let's say after age 50, it seems to flip-flop where guys, these married men, are leaving more. And like Crystal was saying earlier, you know, these women get in these relationships and they can't take it no more. But they leaving after 10 years. So we saying that a man sitting there like, dang, babe, we've been together for 30, 25 years, and you still have not really gotten on my page. I apologize, my baby, but I got to go. Now we can't say that a woman leaving because she can't take it no more is the equivalent to a man.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I've seen men be with some straight up nags, and I see why he left her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad. Do what you got to do for you. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's this silent plot of as soon as these kids graduate college, bitch, I'm out of here. You know, like that's what I find.
How do they get there? How do they get to that point? Like, and just think about that thought. The man said, you know what? As soon as these kids are done and the burden is lessened, we ain't worked, I'ma go. Women don't have that same sentiment. They like it's over because I'm not happy. It's over because I'm not fulfilled. It's over because I'm not happy.
I think as people, you have to, like, you cannot. First off, she shouldn't. I've even seen situations where like the children are heartbroken because they had a quote unquote perfect marriage, and he literally, it's just maybe she hit that wall. I don't think this happens a lot. I don't think it happens a lot, but it's just interesting when we see long-term marriages, when we see women get sick and people get sick in relationships. We always talk about loyalty. That percentage of men leaving a woman with cancer or something terminal, it shoots through the roof. It's like nobody is saying, oh, men are evil and women are good, and women are good and men are evil. But I think also we just have to get to a space of, can we just be better people to make the marriages last, or just be upfront if she's being a nag or being annoying or whatever, and tell her to fix it, or you're gonna leave.
He put his head on the chopping block when he attacked KS. Yeah, so we were setting the stage. We setting the stage with that. All right, y'all see what's in the thumbnail here.
What does it say? I can't see.
I only want you to see it.
Who ran the world, girls? Okay.
Women do have a heavy influence on the world. We can't act like they don't have a heavy influence. What do Farrakhan say? You know, our culture, you know, our community only rises, you know, as high as our women's moral integrity, loosely quoted. So there we go. So is it safe to say that if women run the world and everyone across the board, regardless of demographic, race, are kind of in agreement that everything is in shambles? So what that mean?
Most definitely. No, I agree. I say that almost every week. I think that it's, you know, it's because of now the whole run the world thing. I was just playing around, but no.
No, you wasn't.
Was that Sprinkle? Hey, girl.
See, that goes say, hey, girl.
But no, I think that, yeah, you're right. It is. It's like, it is horrible. I told you every week, I think we both play our part. Don't get me wrong, but in majority, I always blame women in majority.
Now I see so the brothers in the chat, they really ain't feeling boys. Here's the thing. Like now we all, claim that, we respect Kevin Samuels. One of Kev's biggest thing was not beefing with other men in this space. That was one of his biggest things. So with that being said, I try to hold true to that. Boyce is way out of line. I've said that clearly. All right. At the very same time.
Now explain that to me. No, was this like a mutual? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. My question is, at what point is it if like the Black Panthers, if they say drugs are bad, we shouldn't be doing this, or this man is bad because he's doing that, at what point is it calling out something that you think is problematic for the community and beefing?
Well, you just like I said, me, I'm big on not name calling, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, like like me, myself, like I said, I grew up in a very brutish environment. So if I call a dude a simp, I'm gonna say it to his face and I'm ready to go fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying? Just with all due respect. So that's why I said, like, try not to beef if you really ain't about that life, and it's just not a good look, beefing and calling each other names. Like it's emotional.
I didn't know that happened.